And looking forward in your area of research, 10 years, 20 years, whatever you think is reasonable, where can you see the relationship between inflammation, omega-6, omega-3 heading? What do you imagine may unfold in 10 or 20 years' time?
Yeah, well, I think there's two things. One is that we will be much more sure about the role of inflammation in many common diseases. I think that will be more established. And the second is that we will understand much more about the specific roles of omega-6 and omega-3 in the inflammatory process. And I think we will, if the trends from the last few years continue, we will have new mechanisms by which omega-3s are acting to reduce the burden of inflammation.
So, knowing that, you think we as a community will act on it?
Well, I think it's taken quite a long time for the message about omega-3s and cardiovascular protection to really move forward, instead of just grinding forward slowly, to really take a big step forward. And hopefully that will continue. And maybe on the coattails of that, other areas of omega-3s will also take off a little bit more quickly. Of course, there's often a lack of understanding amongst both the public and the doctors, the medical doctors. That means sometimes it's a bit slow for these ideas to take root, but hopefully we can work on both the public and the medical profession to improve that.
And for someone in the fishing industry, what do you think the opportunities are for promotion of seafood along the lines of omega-3 and better health?
Yeah, well, there's no doubt that seafood in general and some specific types of seafood like oily fish should be part of a healthy diet, and that people should eat more and people should be encouraged to eat more, and that other areas within society, for example the government, the supermarkets and so on, should maybe take actions to make the eating of fish more readily acceptable to people, for example through pricing, through providing help for cooking and knowing about recipes and so on. But I think there's a real place for this, and I think it will only improve through education and understanding and perhaps a little of coercion as well. So we need a carrot and a stick, I guess.
And you think there'll be significant benefits if that happens to both the health of the community and to the health costs paid by the community?
Yeah. So I think people themselves can become more healthy, and therefore they're less likely to, well, by definition, become sick. So, there's a saving in terms of going to the doctor, in terms of medications and so on. And then as they live a longer but more healthy life, then there will be much reduced costs in terms of hospital use and drugs and requirement for surgery and so on. So I think there's the potential for a really big payoff through increased intake of omega-3s through seafood or through supplements.
Particularly important with an ageing population?
Yeah, so because of other advances, including some dietary advances, people are living much longer now. So I think life expectation is probably 20 years longer than it was 100 years ago. So people are living much longer and expecting to remain healthy during that time. It's not much use if people are living longer but being very ill or being in hospital for long periods of time. So I think, the potential not just to make people live longer, but to make them live healthy lives whilst they live longer is very great. And this is where the real cost saving is, and the benefit and quality of life for people.
Sure. And finally, given your area of study and seeing the way that people eat on a regular basis, if you could get a message across to the average consumer in Britain or in Australia or in New Zealand, what would you really like to say to them?
Yeah, I think my health message would be that long-chain omega-3 fatty acids from seafood are of benefit to human health, and people should take action to consume more of those fatty acids.
Excellent.